up, guys? This is Church of Caboose, and for today's Destiny 2 video, it's another episode of what is going on in Destiny in this whole kind of series thing. That whole deal is to kind of talk about things that are pretty prevalent and being talked about within the Destiny 2 community, and just to try to give you guys the high points as well as some of my own opinions on what's going on within these different topics. So if you happen to have an idea for a name, by the way, I'm trying to figure out a name. I already have one that I like so far, so if you have a name that you'd be down for me to use and call this video series, please feel free to comment that name down below, or to join my Church and Friends Discord server and message me over there. Also, if you do enjoy this video, please click the like button. If you do enjoy content like this and raid guides and all like quest tips and efficiency farming and all that goodness and Crucible shenanigans, make sure to subscribe to my channel so that way you can see all the fun stuff that we get to do over here. I also want to thank you guys all so much for the support. I was really worried about how this channel would function with Season of the Worthy, and we got a little bit creative together, and it's going way better than what I thought, so thank you guys all so much for that. So what are we going to be talking about first? First thing up is Watercresss. I want to not try to talk too much about it. It's still a thing. Watercresss basically is an issue with Bungie servers where it thinks that the player's game session is still going on, so when you try to log back in, you can't because Bungie servers think that your character is still playing. So effectively, since I have been a Watercresss off of Xbox for about a month, Bungie servers think I've been playing Destiny 2 24/7 for about a month now. I have a couple of ideas for solutions. I saw posts where things are suggested and written by Bungie, and it got me kind of thinking, which is why we are talking about Watercresss again. If you want to know more, by the way, look at the card. You can watch the video I made about a month ago about Watercresss. So here is my two solutions or propositions to make. Okay, number one of the Bungie posts that they replied on the forums said basically, hey, we know we've been doing things like Guardian games and hard light nerfs and trials fixes, etc., during this whole quarantine, but that's because we have multiple teams working on different aspects of the game. So, like, lay off of us because, like, our team that's working on Watercresss just hasn't figured it out yet. So I propose, clearly that team needs some help. I'm not saying they suck. I'm not saying they're terrible people. I'm just saying it's been 8 weeks without a solution. For the love of God, they clearly need some extra hands. I don't know, maybe consolidate a bunch of teams and be like, hey, you 7 teams, I was making up a number, you 7 teams, you're going to knock out this Watercresss thing, we're going to be done with it in a week, so that way Church of Caboose and all of those other mofos get off our back about how we haven't fixed this yet, and we stop seeing this constantly in the forums. So that's proposition number one. My second proposition is, as a community, maybe we can all get behind having Bungie shut down the servers completely, either once a week, once every 2 weeks, or once a month. Just something regular. Because if this issue is the servers think that our character is still in the Destiny universe, so to speak. If we shut down the servers, wouldn't that be kind of the same as a hard reset? I have no idea how long or arduous it would be to shut down servers. In my head, it feels like it'd just be something like you shut them down for like an hour or a half hour, however long, boot them right back up to be up with the weekly reset, and boom, like then we get to play on Xbox, for those of us that have been Watercresss, for at least some amount of time before Watercresss pops back up again. I do not think this should be a permanent solution. It's just an idea, since it's taken them 8 weeks to not have a solution so far. I'm giving you guys a solution of something you could, I'm sure I'll make some people mad, which is why I'm like, hey, as a community, like, can we get together and be like, hey, we want to help out those Xbox people. Bungie, please just like shut down the servers, like leading up to the weekly release. I even care. It could be some other part of the week. I really don't give a shit when it is. Just shut them down at some point, so that way everyone has a hope at playing at least a little bit. Because there are definitely players that haven't been able to play Season of the Worthy at all, and they paid for it. So hopefully you guys agree. If you do, share this idea, put it on Reddit, comment down below what you think, or if you've got other proposed solutions how Bungie could fix this whole problem, please let me know. Okay, now let's talk about Guardian games. So Guardian games are now halfway-ish through our second week. Titans still have the lead, which is why we are talking about Guardian games. A lot of people, especially last week, were like, oh, Titans are cheating, they're exploiting, they're doing internet, blah, 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 blah. They have insurmountable scroll front, so it's easier, blah, 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 blah. And DMG very recently tweeted out what's actually going on. So I'm going to put those screenshots on screen here real quick. I'm just going to kind of talk my thoughts about it and let you guys read the screenshots so that we can kind of keep this rolling, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about for this video. So it turns out Titans are actually legitimately winning. There's DMG was like, yeah, we here at Bungie we did a bunch of like digging and looking. Turns out all the classes are proportionately doing the same amount of the deleting a character. We got things like the latency, where if you might see someone in the tower banking a medal over and over and over, it's just boom, 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 boom. That's just a visual thing. It's not actually counting towards any numbers or progress on who's going to win, that sort of thing. And so Titans are actually legitimately winning. But I do have a couple of thoughts at this point. So every day, supposedly, the banners are supposed to reset. So like, doesn't matter what the score was the day before, once you hit the daily reset, boom, everyone's at 0. Like, we're just going to say 0 medals banked. And so then the banners are supposed to go up and up depending upon who's doing what. But somehow, every day when I log in, because I usually log in, if not at reset, really close to it, because, you know, quarantine, then I'm noticing Titans are still crazy in the lead. So there might be some really weird thing where it's actually carrying over day to day to day, and so people could be feeling like there's absolutely no shot they can win. Which, honestly, at this point, if the issue is that the scores are carrying over from one day to the next and it's not resetting, yeah, I might be right. Titans might just already have the win, so yay, Crayon Eaters. The other thing I was thinking could be going on is that in that first week, when everyone was convinced that the Titans were cheating, because as you saw in the screenshots, Bungie waited to kind of put out the information about the cheats until they can make sure what was actually happening as far regards to the cheating and the latency and all that goodness. So maybe people in that first week are like, holy crap, Titans are the only ones doing this. They're going to definitely win. So if I want to have a character with the gold class item, I might as well be on Titan and invest all the stuff I can. So there is that possibility. But I would counter that possibility within the first week. A lot of the more hardcore players, like myself, we wanted heir apparent. So a lot of us are playing on all 3 characters every single day until we acquired the heir apparent exotic machine gun. So I'm not even sure how much of an effect people hopping on the Titan bandwagon would have had, but I'm sure there's more casual players than there are hardcore players, so it's quite a possibility. So it looks like Titans are going to probably win this thing. If you're getting all bummed out, I believe the last week, so this next weekly reset, the last week of Guardian games, everyone's medals count for twice. So I want to give you guys one little quick idea I had of a way to help yourselves out with your own class if you want to do your best to see if the Titans not win this thing. If you go into the tower and you see your class is either having a huge lead or really close, you could hang on to medals, because you can keep all of those medals over multiple days, and with how the medals line up and everything, like, you won't have that much overlap as long as you turn them in either every other day or once every 3 days. And so you can just wait for a day where either your class isn't winning or your class is close to surpassing the next one and bank all of those medals, because especially with the double points, you would be banking up to, like, if you did it every other day, you'd be banking 13 medals times 2, you'd be doing 26 medals in one day, which could be a pretty nifty thing to do. Just a thought I had. You're welcome to take it or leave it. Now, let's talk about Grandmaster. Ooh, got the G words mixed around. The Grandmaster. Grandmaster Nightfalls came out on April 21st. Basically, they're crazy hard. You're capped out like at 1,025 power. Like I'm 1,031, but when I do a Grandmaster, I'm contest lowered to 1,025, which I think that's crazy. Like, after the first week or first day, why don't we get to use our actual power? Because one of the incentives people like me have to play is that we get to power up our artifact. I'm already 10/10 base power, so like I don't really care that much about getting pinnacles. So it'd be kind of nice to be rewarded for having played enough where I have that power. I do understand having the power cap for the first day or two. They do this for new raids. So that way everyone's on a more of an equal playing field. But like after that, why does it matter? The loot from Grandmasters sucks. You can get the same stuff from a Master Nightfall that you can from a Grandmaster. The only difference is, I've been told, the armor rewards from Grandmaster are guaranteed to drop 65 or higher. Don't know how true that is. That's just what I've been told by people that I think are more knowledgeable in the Grandmasters than I am. So it's kind of weird that's really the only extra thing you would get from doing a Grandmaster as opposed to a Master Nightfall on the Platinum level. The other qualm I have with Grandmaster is you aren't actually encouraged to play the whole thing, right? So you don't have these different levels. In Master Nightfalls, you kill all the champions, you get platinum levels, so you get better rewards. In Grandmaster, you just have to beat it. And you don't even necessarily have to beat it in a timely fashion. The only time limit they have is once you get to 42 minutes, you don't get to revive anyone anymore. So if someone dies after 42 minutes, they're just down, and hopefully you don't get wiped and get sent to orbit because everyone dies. You just have to finish, and you get like the same rewards as the Master Nightfall, but it's way harder. In fact, it's so hard, most people find ways of skipping as much of those Nightfalls as they can. A lot of people just skip through the Grandmaster. It's pretty common to have 3 teams of hunters all go invis the whole time and just run through as much as possible, which I imagine this week will be a little bit easier with it being Exodus Crash. There's not as many like time gate things. There's like 1 area or 2, I guess I can think of, but they're not that bad for that like makes you stop and fight. But the rest of it you skip through until the boss fight. And so I think it's really weird and poor decision making to set up a playlist in such a fashion where people know they're not going to get a whole lot of loot and they're not incentivized to actually play the thing, so they try to skip as much of it as possible. Like, I've seen videos of people that solo this thing in 11 minutes. Like, that should not be happening. There should be more incentive to actually play the thing. So that kind of wraps up my thoughts with the Grandmaster. The only thing I would say to do really to make it better is you got kind of 2 options or both. I love the 2s, I guess. You can either make the rewards for finishing a Grandmaster significantly better, right? Because like a lot of people don't even want to try. Because I'm kind of one of them. Like if I have friends that I trust that want to do it, I'll do it with them, which is hard because I'm on Stadia, Watercresss. But otherwise, I'm like, I'm good. And then there's people that do it for the prestige. Like, yeah, because I did the Grandmaster. Well, you know what? Most people don't even care if someone's like, I beat the Grandmaster Nightfall. A lot of folks are like, yeah, so what? Like, whatever. Like, it's not worth our time. Because like, it's so not worth people's time that no one, not no one, but there's a lot of people that don't even feel jealous. Like, when someone tells me, yeah, I beat a Grandmaster, I'm like, alright, well, why do I care? Like, I can get the exact same thing for way less stress. The only thing you might get is a title. Like, that ties back to my video I did about titles. A lot of these things are just like, who cares? All you get is a name under your name. Like, that's about it. So that wraps up my stuff for Grandmaster. Again, just increase the rewards and do something to make it where you actually need to play through the whole thing, or you get rewarded for playing through the whole thing and not for skipping. So let's talk a little bit about Trials. Last week there was a TWAB this week at Bungie that came out, and they talked about Trials, all these different plans, how to make it more rewarding, yada yada yada. And the more I thought about it, the more I had more issues with what Bungie is trying to do with their anti-cheating system. I like the incentivizing players part. I think that was really good. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, make sure you just watch my last video, and I'll try to have a card here when I go back through and do more editing. But what they're doing with the anti-cheat right now is more or less see something, say something. So they're gonna, instead of just punishing the cheater, they're going to be punishing and banning the fire team. So if you're on the fire team and you see someone cheating, if you stick around with them for a couple of rounds and like you're like teaming up intentionally with them, then you could get banned as well, which I think is really weird for a couple of reasons. One, you're using the community to save yourself money. Like, I'm not sure like how much it would cost or like resources to get a better anti-cheat system. But if you're now just being like, well, if you don't report someone for cheating, you might get banned too. To me, you're trying to turn people against each other to save yourself time and resources that should be used on an anti-cheat system, right? Like, that's just how that sounds to me. I don't like it. I think that's stupid. One of the reasons why I think it's stupid is I don't know if any of you guys have ever played with a cheater, whether it was on purpose or not, I don't know. But if you think about it, most of those cheats are going to be really, really, really hard to spot. Like, unless you're looking over someone's shoulder, like time and time again, whether it's from like observing them because you're dead, or just like literally standing behind them, it's really hard to tell if someone's using wall hacks or aimbots. You would have to continually see something like insta-killing, because like, you know, like if you see a sniper aiming down a hallway, like if they're hard scoping, you know it's going to be a little bit tougher to get in there. That's kind of like wall hacking. So like if you just like hop on the air, you just poof, dead. Hop out, poof, dead. Like, and you don't have that like time adjustment that you would normally need for a sniper rifle. and this is just happening over and over and over, there's a good chance they're cheating. But the key is you have to be able to spot this kind of stuff over and over and over. And it's not that hard to spot when you're the person on the receiving end of the cheating. So like if the other team is cheating and you're not, some of those cheats like aimbots and wall hacks are significantly easier to spot than if you are on the team with the cheater. Because you would have to watch kill feeds, you'd have to pay really close attention to what that possible cheater is doing. The only stuff to me that'd be really obvious would be like, say you load into a comp match, first round, like you're just starting, a guy has a super. Well, obviously that was a cheat. Or if you see someone like load in and they're like spewing like a machine gun rate of fire with a sniper rifle, obviously they're cheating. Like stuff like that, we can all spot and turn people in for. And with those subtle things though, like the aim hacking and the aimbots, the wall hacking and aimbots, that's really, really, really tough to tell if someone is doing it on your team, especially if you're off of LFG, which is kind of my third issue with this whole thing. Destiny is this weird thing where they want you to do events and you have to be with so many people, but you can't get match made. Like you have to find them somewhere else. Like the closest thing they have is guided games or like Menagerie, I guess. You know, like there are events that are match made, but things like comp used to be where you had to have your whole own fire team. Trials, you can't go into trials unless you have a full fire team, and there's no matchmaking as far as like, hey, I want to solo queue in, or that two of us, and we'll get a random third or a random team. So you have to go to LFG to find people, and Bungie's like, yeah, you better make sure you trust those you're playing with, but they don't have a very good system set in. So like, if you're using LFG, that probably means you don't have friends on your playlist that either like playing that friends on your friends list that either don't like playing that playlist, or maybe you just don't have that many friends and people don't happen to be on. Like that's why LFG things exist, so that way you don't necessarily have to have people you already know, and you've got more options. I use LFG all the time, like all the time. Unless I'm playing by myself, like until this last week, I almost always play with random people off of LFG. And so now, folks are going to be like, oh my gosh, can I use LFG? Are they going to cheat? Am I going to get banned? Am I going to get locked out of all the hundreds of hours or thousands of hours I put onto this account? And I don't know. I think it's just going to really backfire. I would anticipate seeing less people playing trials, especially because of all the new incentives and stuff they're doing for the next couple of seasons. It would seem a lot riskier as a new player or someone that just sucks, you don't have people that want to play with you, to use LFG because you might get banned. So that's kind of my main issues with the trials of Osiris anti-cheat stuff going on. Just not a really big fan of having people turn each other in. I would think they should just do like an auto check, because if they're wanting folks to turn each other in, the kinds of stuff that people will notice when you're turning your teammates in would be the really obvious things, like you mentioned, spawning in with a super like on the first round, or having heavy right off the bat, stuff of that nature that's really obvious. Why can't Bungie have some sort of like an auto detection system? I'm sure that's not the right phrasing, but like why can't they have something where like, oh shit, this guy loaded in first round with a super? That's not supposed to happen. I'm not saying that'd be an instantaneous ban, but it gives like a little like beep or notification being like, hey, check this player out. They did something that's really weird. So then a human could go through and be like, okay, yeah, that was really weird. Ban him. Like that was obviously cheating. Like why can't there be something of that nature? Because that's the only kinds of stuff people are going to be, for the most part, able to spot anyways. And this whole turning in your friends thing already builds off of the whole like we already think everyone else is cheating, right? Like I'm guilty of this too. Like someone beats me out a bunch of times, like, oh, well, they're obviously cheating, or like something kind of fishy's going on. It could just be they have different internet than me. I'm like, oh, they're obviously cheating. So like having people turn each other in, it's just gonna make it worse. People that have really good plays might get turned in for cheating, and they maybe just had a really good game. Like I have sometimes games where I get 40 kills, and most of the time I get 20. So like, I don't want someone like Church is cheating. Believe me, I'm not. Just because I had a really good game, and because people are being told, hey, you have to turn each other in. Instead of having some sort of an auto check system and using your own money and resources, which I know you have, and are not investing into everything else besides Watercresss and anti-cheat, and put them into Watercresss and anti-cheat and take care of the game. Alright guys, thank you all so much for watching. If the TWAB comes out and I feel like it's worth covering, I might do a video on that, or maybe I'll put the TWAB in next week. I waited so long for the TWAB to come out, and so I'm just not going to worry about it. I am Church of Caboose. Let me know down below what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you want to add stuff? Thank you guys all so much for watching. Have a great week, and happy grinding, y'all.